Hi, everyone. This is Melinda, the founder of HopJax and also a licensed professional counselor. And today I have a wonderful opportunity to speak to one of our providers in our HopJax community. She's a licensed clinical social worker. So please welcome Christina. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to chat with us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Melinda. Thank you for having me on this. Yes, I'd love to. Like you said, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I have a few specialties that I work with. So, I work with children and families. I also work with self-esteem or identity issues. I also specialize in polyamory and ethical non-monogamy. And I'm also fluent in sign language. So, I work with the deaf community and do counseling for them.
Well, I think that is wonderful to have so many very unique specialties, and for the working with the deaf community with sign language, I think that's wonderful because I can imagine how awkward it would be to have like an interpreter present when you're trying to get through all the things in therapy that you want to say, and then having to have an interpreter present.
Exactly. Like it would suck having like a third person in the room who gets to hear all your deepest secrets and like hard troubles and things like that. And you don't even know that person. And it might be a different interpreter each time, too. So I think it's important to try to give the deaf community equal access to services by having someone that they can communicate with directly instead of having to go through an interpreter.
Is there something that led you towards these different unique specialties that you have?
Yeah, so I mean, there's like a personal tie probably in each one of them. But the deaf community, long story short, I knew somebody in middle school who was hard of hearing and wore hearing aids. And she didn't know sign language, but that opened up my mind to the deaf community. And then I started learning sign language. And then eventually I took it in college and fell in love with the language and the culture and the people and just kind of went from there. So, yeah.
Wonderful. And then you also have specialties with kids, you said, and then the non-monogamy.
Yeah.
So tell me a little more about that.
So with kids, I love working with children and families. It's kind of funny because that's where I have like the most experience. And I always thought that I wouldn't want to work with adults because I felt like kids were always so natural for me. But then once I got more experience with adults, I was like, oh, I actually like working with everybody. Like this is fine. But yeah, I've just always had a special connection with kids and really been able to relate and connect with them. And so I think that helps me to help them feel more comfortable in therapy so that they can be more open and we can really address their goals. And then for polyamory and ethical non-monogamy, so that's something that I also am affirming of like the LGBTQ community as well. So kind of those like, different type of relationship styles and sexualities and things like that. Not only as, somebody who's involved in the LGBTQ population myself, but so I just believe that everyone should be able to do what makes them happy and, be able to connect with whoever they connect with. And so I feel like I definitely have a more of an understanding of those populations and like non-monogamous relationships versus other therapists who maybe are not as involved in that population and community.
Yeah, and I think that it's really unique, and what makes the HopJax providers so unique is having, lots of providers who specialize in different things and making sure that um, patients are connecting with therapists who really understand what they're going through. I think it's really important.
Definitely, definitely is. And that's my
So
goal in therapy is just helping people to feel heard and connected and understood. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's obviously HopJax is uh, our commitment is to have, to doing the same thing.
Nice.
Okay, so just to wrap up, so we're just gonna do like some fun like rapid fire questions. Like just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. They're not too complicated. So if you're going to drink something in the morning, do you prefer tea or coffee?
Tea. I don't like to drink coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. Though it's funny because I do have goals of owning a cafe in the future, but I will be making the tea instead of the coffee, I guess.
I guess you can do both, even if you don't like coffee, because there's a lot of coffee drinkers out there.
Yeah.
What about when you're going on vacation? Do you prefer beach or mountains?
Mountains. The beach is beautiful to look at, but like I don't really like the feeling of like walking in the sand and getting sand in every crevice of my body. And I don't usually go in the water because it's like, and depending if it's like a pretty turquoise water beach, then yes. But if it's like where I'm from, Florida, there's some beaches there that are like brown. It's like you don't want to go in the water. So I really love like the mountains and the forests and like the animals there and stuff like that.
Well, this one should be pretty easy for you, and I can guess what your answer is going to be. Do you prefer sandals or sneakers?
Yeah, I do prefer sneakers, not only because they're easier to hike on a mountain with, but also they're just more supportive and comfortable. I find sandals just uncomfortable and like hard to like, you have to keep gripping with your toes to keep them on your feet. So yeah.
And what about for dinner? You prefer tacos or pizza?
I love food, so I like both of those things, but I'm gonna say pizza, because it's a little bit less messy. Like with tacos, sometimes they like fall apart and like it's harder to eat them or something. Unless they're like a soft taco, then they tend to stay together better. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with pizza. Mhm.
Okay. And what about for dessert? Do you prefer cake or pie?
Oh man, I'm such a sweets person. I love sweets. I think I'm gonna say cake though. Though like some pie is really good too, but I think I'm gonna go with cake.
Any kind of cake you like is your favorite?
I don't know if I have a favorite. I like, but when you say cake, you could mean like normal like cake, or you could mean like ice cream cake now I think about it, or something like there's different kinds of cake. So I don't know. I do love ice cream cakes. And I also love like cookies and cream type cakes or like I don't know. I like different stuff. I don't tend to like just like vanilla or just like chocolate. Like I want something fun, like a different, unique kind of flavor.
Get that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes today to talk with us and get to know you a little better. And if you'd like to learn more about Christina, you can see all of her information on her HopJax profile and book an appointment right online. Thanks
Sounds
so
great.
much.
Thank you so much, Melinda.
You're welcome.